In this video, we will talk about history of Japan, so make sure to watch the full video. Japan's history is a tapestry woven from ancient traditions, imperial ambitions, and cultural transformations. From prehistoric settlements to the emergence of powerful clans, the archipelago has witnessed profound changes over millennia. Key periods, such as the Jomon, Yayai, and Heian, laid the groundwork for Japan's unique identity. The rise of the samurai and the establishment of shogunates marked the transition to military governance, while the Edo period fostered stability and isolation. The Meiji Restoration ignited modernization and imperial expansion, culminating in Japan's complex role in the 20th century, including its recovery from World War II, leading to its current status as a global power. 1. Prehistoric Japan and the Jomon period, 14,000 BCE to 300 BCE. The earliest human habitation in Japan dates back to the Paleolithic period, with evidence of hunter-gatherer societies living across the archipelago. Around 14,000 BCE, the Jomon period began, characterized by its distinctive pottery, considered some of the oldest in the world. Jomon people lived in semi-permanent villages, practiced rudimentary agriculture, and engaged in fishing, hunting, and gathering. Their culture was deeply spiritual, as seen in artifacts like dogu figurines. Over thousands of years, the Jomon developed increasingly sophisticated tools and social structures, though they remained a largely egalitarian society. 2. Yayai period and the rise of agriculture, 300 BCE to 250 CE. The Yayai period marked a significant turning point in Japan's history, as rice farming and metalworking were introduced from the Korean peninsula and China. This era saw the gradual replacement of the Jomon lifestyle, as wet rice agriculture allowed for more stable food supplies, population growth, and the development of more complex social hierarchies. The Yayai people used bronze and iron tools, and their pottery was simpler compared to Jomon styles but more functional. Clans began to emerge, competing for resources and power, laying the foundation for the centralized state that would later dominate Japan. 3. The Kofun period and the emergence of a centralized state, 250 CE to 538 CE. During the Kofun period, powerful clans began to consolidate control, leading to the formation of a proto-state centered around the Yamato clan, which claimed divine lineage from the sun goddess Amaterasu. The period is named after the massive burial mounds, Kofun, constructed for the ruling elite, symbolizing their power. The Yamato rulers exerted influence over much of Japan, establishing ties with Korea and China, which would have a lasting impact on Japanese culture. This era marked the beginning of Japan's transformation into a more centralized and hierarchical society, setting the stage for future state building. 4. Introduction of Buddhism in the Asuka period, 538 CE to 710 CE. The Asuka period is defined by the introduction of Buddhism, which arrived in Japan from Korea in 538 CE, and had profound effects on Japanese society, culture, and politics. Alongside Buddhism, Chinese influences such as Confucianism, administrative systems, and architectural styles began to shape the Yamato court. Prince Shotoku, one of the most influential figures of the time, played a key role in promoting Buddhism and Chinese-style reforms, including the creation of Japan's first constitution, the 17-article constitution. This era marked Japan's first significant steps toward creating a centralized bureaucratic state, and Buddhism quickly intertwined with the Shinto beliefs of the time. 5. The Nara and Heian periods, court culture and feudal beginnings, 710 CE to 1185 CE and 710 CE. The first permanent capital was established in Nara, reflecting Japan's growing political stability and connection to Chinese models of governance. During the Nara period, Buddhism flourished, and grand temples like Todaiji were built, symbolizing the power of the state and religion. In 794, the capital was moved to Heian, modern-day Kyoto, marking the beginning of the Heian period, a time of courtly refinement, artistic achievement, and literary classics like the Tale of Genji. However, while the imperial court focused on culture, regional aristocratic families and warrior clans gained power, laying the foundation for the rise of feudalism. 6. The Kamakura shogunate and the rise of the samurai, 1185 CE to 1333 CE. The Kamakura period saw the establishment of Japan's first military government, or shogunate, under Minamoto no Yoritomo, following the Genpei War between rival clans. This era marked the ascendancy of the samurai warrior class, who replaced the aristocratic court as the dominant force in Japanese politics and society. The Kamakura shogunate maintained power through a feudal system in which samurai pledged loyalty to their lords in exchange for land and protection. Despite this new militarized system, Japan faced external threats, including two failed Mongol invasions in 1274 and 1281, which bolstered the prestige of the samurai and the shogunate. 7. The Muromachi period and Warring States era, 1336 CE to 1600 CE. The fall of the Kamakura shogunate ushered in the Muromachi period, during which the Ashikaga shogunate took control. Although the Ashikaga family ruled from Kyoto, their authority was weak, and Japan gradually descended into chaos during the Sengoku, Warring States, period, as regional warlords, or daimyo, fought for supremacy. This era saw continuous military conflict, political intrigue, and shifting alliances, but also a flourishing of culture, including the development of tea ceremonies, no theater, and Zen Buddhism. Unification efforts began with Oda Nobunaga, continued with Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and were completed by Tokugawa Ieyasu, who established the Tokugawa shogunate in 1603. 8. The Edo period, isolation and stability, 1603 CE to 1868 CE. The Edo period, under the Tokugawa shogunate, was marked by over 250 years of peace, stability, and economic growth. Tokugawa Ieyasu centralized power by controlling the daimyo through a system of alternate attendants, limiting their ability to rebel. Japan adopted a policy of isolation, sakoku, severely restricting foreign contact and trade, except for limited interactions with the Dutch and Chinese. This isolation fostered the development of a unique Japanese culture, including the growth of urban centers like Edo, modern Tokyo, advancements in literature and arts, and the rise of the merchant class. However, this peaceful era ended as Western powers, particularly the United States, pressured Japan to open its ports. 9. The Meiji Restoration and Modernization, 1868 CE to 1912 CE. In 1868, the Meiji Restoration restored power to Emperor Meiji, ending the Tokugawa shogunate and initiating a period of rapid modernization and westernization. Japan's leaders embarked on sweeping reforms to transform the country into a modern industrialized nation. Feudalism was abolished, a new centralized government was established, and the military was restructured along Western lines. The adoption of Western technology, legal systems, and education helped Japan emerge as a formidable modern power. During the Meiji era, Japan also began expanding its influence abroad, defeating China in the First Sino-Japanese War, 1894 to 1895, and Russia in the Russo-Japanese War, 1904 to 1905, gaining colonial territories in Korea and Taiwan. 10. Japan's imperial expansion and post-World War II era, 1912 CE. Present the Taisho and early Showa period saw Japan's rise as a militaristic imperial power. By the 1930s, Japan had expanded into Manchuria and China, seeking to establish dominance in East Asia. This expansionist policy culminated in Japan's entry into World War II, where it joined the Axis powers. The war ended in defeat in 1945 after the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, leading to Japan's surrender. The post-war U.S. occupation brought about political, social, and economic reforms, turning Japan into a democratic nation. Japan's remarkable recovery in the following decades saw it become an economic powerhouse, and it remains a key player in global affairs today. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. Also, subscribe to our channel before you go. Thank you for